Good morning. It is 6:10 a.m. on Tuesday, August 8th, 2017. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Luna update. We're easing back on one of the medications she was on, and she has a little bit more energy as a result. It's nice seeing her a little more herself with more energy. It doesn't change the underlying situation that much, but she's acting a little different, which is nice to see. Um, but we're continuing on with week 2 of the radiation treatment, which she seems to be tolerating pretty well. So, fingers crossed, right? Um, Yesterday I discovered I actually discovered the tip not before yesterday, but I tried it for the first time yesterday. This was a tip for breading things. In my evolution as someone who is able to cook, I have in the past had bad experiences with recipes that require me to bread things. Because what seems to happen inevitably is that my fingertips get themselves breaded, big goopy clumps all over my fingertips, and then it is difficult to handle the thing that I am breading without, leaving fingerprint or smears where the breading has been removed, and it's a messy and ultimately unsatisfying experience where, well, I don't want to overstate the case, but where I feel like I didn't do as good a job as I could have. And I know that it's like, well, people must know how to do this, right? There must be, is it just a matter of muscle memory or is there a trick to it? But I had always just felt like whatever the answer to that question was, I didn't know it, and I was doing a bad job of breading food, whether it was chicken or fish or whatever. The jalapeno poppers that I had made previously one time. Hey, Luna! Come on. She has a cone to keep her from licking herself at the moment, but she's not wearing it right this second, so I had to pay attention. Um, but what I finally did, knowing that I had a recipe coming up where I was going to be making chicken tenders, these are more Blue Apron recipes, breaded chicken tenders, I was thinking, oh, I want to do better. I want to do better with breading, better breading. So I just, started Googling, tips for breading. And one thing that made perfect sense was the idea of just having a wet hand and a dry hand. So, for example, when we're breading these chicken tenders in this particular recipe, we pat the raw chicken down with paper towels. And then it needs to go in flour, and then in egg, and then in the it was matzah breadcrumbs is what came with this particular recipe. And so what you do with the whole wet hand, dry hand thing is just the idea that, okay, the chicken at the start, we're going to consider that wet. So you pick up the chicken and you just drop it into the flour. And you use dry hand to kind of turn it around in the flour and coat it with the flour. So, and then you pick the chicken up and drop it into the egg. So dry hand has only touched the chicken in the flour. Now the wet hand can coat it in the egg and then drop it into the matzah, and then dry hand turns it in the matzah and puts it on the plate. So, dry hand only touches it when it's in the dry stuff. Wet hand only touches it when it's in the wet stuff. And darn if it didn't work like a charm. Like there was a little, a little figuring it out and all that, but it became very clear to me very quickly that it was a superior method than what I had been using, which was to use both hands for all steps. And although there was still a little bit of mess to clean up, the results were far superior to my previous attempts. And I actually took a picture of one of these chicken tenders in question posted it on Twitter. So if you guys want to see the result of one of my breaded chicken tenders, and I can tell you that they all looked pretty much like that in terms of quality of the breading and so on. So better breading. So that's Christiana's cooking tips for Tuesday, August 8th, and I will talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.